Alright, welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. Welcome my Jamaican audience. Welcome my Caribbean audience. Welcome humans from all walks of life. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, like, comment, share, subscribe. Listen carefully, then leave your comment in the comment section below. We're going to be discussing further what Donald Trump, the United States of America president, recently said about mass arrests and mass deportation in the millions that's on the way and should begin next week. So I am going to read Miriam Saleh piece that was printed in The Intercept. What you need to know about Trump's mass deportation threat. Now let's get this out of the way. A lot of people are calling it a threat, but a lot more people are feeling threatened. A lot more people are feeling as if it could become a reality, even though there are people that are saying it's not possible. So, in between tweets, complaining about Fox News polling numbers and boasting about the size of future rallies, Donald Trump, the president, took a moment on Monday to send shockwaves throughout immigrant communities across the country with a threat that was probably more meant to rally his base, but one that is not actually logistically possible. I'm reading from another angle here because I've already done a video where I said that it is very possible if they want to do this that they can, but from the possibility of those saying it's not possible logistically, here we go. Next week, ICE will begin the process of removing the millions of illegal aliens who have illicitly found their way into the United States. This is what he tweeted. They will be removed as fast as they came in. As fast as they come in. So, an administration official later told the Associated Press that the effort would target people who have received final orders of deportation. Listen carefully. This effort will target the people who have received their final orders of deportation. And if you saw my other video, I spoke about them not being bound by law any longer to notify you if you have been put in the deportation proceedings. So there are people that are sitting out there that are actually waiting to be called, that are going through the proper channels even though they are here illegally, like they went and got a lawyer, they filed the proper paperwork, and they are sitting and waiting. These people I call sitting ducks, because when they made it now perfectly legal to no longer notify you in writing that you have been placed in deportation proceedings, you become a victim when they start doing these sweeps. Because an individual can easily get up in the morning to take their children to school, you drop the children off, and they never see you again because you have been deported, picked up by ICE, and then deported to another country. So, they're saying that this effort will target the people who have received their final orders of deportation. Doesn't mean you've received it in person, meaning that order has been made against you, that ruling. There are more than 1 million people living in the U.S. currently that have received this final order of deportation, and among an undocumented population of 11 million. So, originally when he said in the millions people will be going home, everybody was saying there's no way possible he can deport 11 million people. But guess what? He sure can deport 1 million. And those 1 million have already received. It is confirmed now that they have already received, been ordered to be deported. He obviously wants anyone to believe he's talking about some mass roundup, which is just not possible, immigration attorney Matt Cameron said of Trump, both because of resources and because of due process. I beg to differ. Listen to my other video that I put up, which I will put at the end of this video, and I will explain to you why I don't think so. But these are attorneys and this is their specialty, So, and I have another theory on what some attorneys are up to as well. But you will have to watch or listen to the other video to get that information. The genuine fear, coupled with the artificial threat, coming at a time of maximum insecurity for the immigrants in the United States, has put immigrant right groups in a bind. They, at the moment, they're being very careful in their responses to Trump's tweets, trying to avoid creating panic while also trying to equip people with resources needed to defend themselves legally. Adonia Simpson, the director of the Family Defense Program at the Miami-based Americans for Immigrant Justice, said her group was considering whether to host a Know Your Rights training, noting that in her experience, immigrants tend to be afraid to go out and access legal resources at times like this because they're scared. They're afraid they're going to go out, try to get some legal help, and be swept up in the big swoop and deported. So they prefer to stay in hiding, which is why I said yesterday that just by President Trump tweeting that next week the roundup starts, millions will be arrested and deported, people are going to start running, panicking, going into hiding. The National Immigrant Justice Center, for its part, has been circulating Know Your Rights information online. Simpson described people with final deportation orders as the lowest hanging fruits of the immigration system. You know, when you're out picking fruits off a tree, it's harder to get to the ones at the top unless you climb the tree or use a stick to pick them or knock them off. But the ones that are hanging low, you just reach up and pull them down. So she's describing those who have already gotten their orders, some again who do not know that they've gotten these orders, which is what makes everyone who has their paperwork in very vulnerable, because you don't know unless you have gotten that paperwork that says you are not good or you are good. The easiest population to go after that would be the individuals who have final orders of removal and are perhaps going to check in at their local ICE offices. She said people with final orders of removal are sometimes allowed to stay in the United States as long as they periodically check in with ICE. See, a lot of us did not know that. We thought that once you were illegal and you were caught, you were automatically deported, which is not true. Some people are allowed to stay as long as they check in periodically with ICE. Often because the agency lacks the resources to deport them immediately. They have strong family ties in the country, or there is no other country that is willing to take them in. Now, see, I've heard many of these kinds of stories where people are saying, everything's been going good. I got an order to leave like 5 years ago, and I've been checking in periodically like I've been told to every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And one Friday I got there. One Friday I went in to do my regular check-in, and they told me I was not going home. And I was held, processed, and deported. So that is a scary situation to be in. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, by the way, here's a baby bus that I specially ordered made just like this. What do you notice about the baby bus? And you guys are saying it's impossible, it can't be done, they're not going to do it. Okay, stay asleep. Those who are awake, stay woke. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, Trump linked his announcement of a mass roundup to recent talks with Mexico and Guatemala to keep asylum seekers from reaching the United States, which is vastly different from removing people with final deportation orders from the country. This is yet another indication that Trump's tweet, issued the night before his official 2020 campaign launch, was about appealing to a nativist base rather than an actual policy. Because he made that tweet. Remember, he ran on building a wall. He ran on immigration. Make America great again. And now he is about to campaign for a second term as president. He wants his supporters to believe in him, to believe that he is doing a good job. He is getting these illegal immigrants out. We are going to build the wall, and so on and so forth. So he doubled down by saying, starting next week, just the night before his campaign starts for the 2020 election, he goes to tell his audience by tweet that millions will be rounded up, arrested, and deported starting next week. Another possibility is that Trump was referring to the rumored expansion of expedited removal, a program that currently allows ICE to quickly deport people within 14 days of their entry into the United States if they're caught within 100 miles of the border. To be totally blunt, I don't think Trump is capable of that level of nuance, said Aaron Reichlin Melnick, a policy analyst at the Migration Policy Institute. By all measures, a plan to deport millions of people is an astounding exaggeration. Of people is an astounding exaggeration. They're saying that Trump is bluffing. He is exaggerating in an astounding manner. So it's not just a lie. They're saying that it's a big lie. It's a huge lie. It's a humongous lie. Even beginning to deport millions, as Trump pledged ICE would do, stretches the truth to a breaking point. As Sarah Pierce, an analyst of the Migration Policy Institute, pointed out on Twitter, look at these numbers. ICE has deported an average of 90,000 people from the interiors of the United States in recent years. They said recent years, but they did not give the number. Does that mean in the last 2 years? Because if 90,000 were deported in the last 2 years, then, and he has ramped up his manpower, then you can consider that number being quadrupled, double, triple, or quadrupled. And he might not hit 11 million, but hundreds of thousands might be affected. That's just my opinion. The largest number of people ICE deported overall from the interiors as well as recent border crossers was about 420,000 people in 2012. So you're telling me that in 1 year, in 2012, 420,000 people were deported. Wow, in that 1 year. So you still think it's not possible? And do you think if 420,000 people were to be deported right now, how can you say that it is impossible? It might be impossible to do millions, but we don't know. And I still do not think that it's impossible. In response to a question about Trump's tweet, ICE sent a statement that referred to interior enforcement. ICE will continue to conduct interior enforcement into exemption for those who are in violation of federal immigration law. The statement read, this includes routine targeted enforcement operations, criminals, individuals subject to removal orders, and work site enforcement. Pay attention. Regardless of what Trump was referring to, or if such a plan to deport immigrants actually exists, ICE is not actually capable of such a large-scale deportation operation, immigration lawyers and analysts are saying. Now, there are some immigration lawyers, mind you, that are saying that it is very much possible when those buses line up and all these spaces are used up, all they have to do is expedite them out quickly. Grab and send, grab and send. People are saying that it usually takes a month or so for each individual case. But they make these rules and they can break and bend these rules. So, there are about 5,000 officers in enforcement and removal operations, or ERO, and an arm of ICE who carry out deportations. From a basic staffing perspective, that's not enough people to work to arrest and deport millions of people. Even if ICE transferred personnel from Homeland Security investigations, the arm that looks into criminal activity and trafficking, to ERO, there would still be a shortage of officers. Remember, it's not SouFLoTV that's saying this. I am giving you information from what's been put out there by highly qualified individuals that are in this field of expertise. The only way they could really actually do this is to reassign people from HSI, Homeland Security, without actually going after people with serious criminal records, says Cameron, who noted that the majority of immigrants with final deportation orders don't have criminal records. Potentially, they're giving up serious security investigations. He added, referring to ICE, we can talk about the necessity of these investigations, but at least on paper, that's what they justify their existence with. So there's no way they want to give that up. That would be leaving the nation at the mercy of illegal immigrants who have criminal records. ICE did not respond to the question about whether it would transfer people from HSI to ERO. But remember, this is a possible way that they can do so by transferring people from HSI to ERO. And as you notice, they have not answered questions of will they be doing so. Another factor that makes it impossible for ICE to effectuate the plan is the lack of available bed space. Deportees don't just go straight from custody to a foreign country, but they're generally detained first. And there are about 50,000 beds in immigration detention centers around the country right now. Then there are basic logistics to track down people with final deportation orders. Then ICE would probably look them up from their last known address, which I'm pretty sure that most of them are probably not there anymore. Immigrants with final deportation orders often don't have passports, and ICE would have to engage in a months-long process to obtain travel documents for those people it intends to deport. Remember, say for instance, if I'm deporting someone to, let's say, Sierra Leone, I would have to contact the government of Sierra Leone. I cannot issue them a passport from the United States of America. So it takes a whole lot of coordination is what they're saying. One of the first immigration actions Trump took as president was to eliminate a system of priorities President Barack Obama created for deportations. The system that Obama created prioritized the deportation of people with serious criminal records or who otherwise posed a threat to public safety. Those are the people he was more concerned on deporting. And its creation was an acknowledgement by the Obama administration that it's simply not possible to deport 11 million people who live in the United States without proper legal documents. Furthermore, they were trying to keep families together. So if someone was here working for a long time, had no criminal records, then they would not be a priority to deport over someone who was here illegally with a criminal record. Though the Department of Homeland Security under Trump has gone after all undocumented immigrants with equal zeal, it has maintained that it is doing so in the interest of public safety, a notion that is easily disproven. Trump has abandoned any pretense of the kind of priorities, Cameron said. If they're going to apply that standard for people with final orders, you're going to give up any pretense that this is about public safety. Alright, so due to process safeguards in the immigration system are another hurdle the administration would face. If you start aggressively enforcing against people who have final orders right now, you're going to see lots of motions to reopen being filed, which would clog up the court system that's already backed up, said Cameron, who is based on Boston and works frequently with Central American immigrants. The same issue would exist even if a future enforcement operation were to expand beyond people with final orders of removal to something like workplace raid, Simpson said. Most of these individuals would have the opportunity to have their cases heard before the immigration courts, she said. These aren't people that would be immediately deported. This is something that isn't being considered in terms of effectuating removal of people in the coming weeks. So in this last part, what they're saying is if they're going to start aggressively enforcing against people who have these final deportation orders, then you're going to see lots of motions to reopen being filed. A motion to reopen my case. and attorneys are perfectly capable of filing so. If they do this in large numbers, which they probably will, this would clog up the court system that's already far backed up, said Cameron. And this attorney is based in Boston and works frequently with Central American immigrants. The same issue would exist, he said, even if a future enforcement operation were to expand beyond people with final orders of removal to something like, say, workplace raids. These people, you go take someone off their job, they're not going to go take them off their job. They have papers filed, they have been given a number to work, a temporary social security number to work, they've been here working for a while. They're going from illegal to legal status. Their case is not going to be easy to try in court, is what he's saying. Like, it's not going to just be oh, you're guilty, go, bye, you're out the country. What's going to happen is each individual case is going to have to be heard. These people will have their day in court. And if they have their day in court individually, and we're talking millions to the tune of 11 million, you can imagine how clogged up and backed up the system would actually become. These aren't people that would be deported immediately. This is something that isn't being considered in terms of effectuating removals of people in the coming weeks. So in other words, there are experts out there that are saying, don't be too scared, but do be careful, because you can get swept up, you can be placed in a detention camp, you can be held for a long period of time. But remember, the lowest hanging fruit on the tree are those 1 million people who have officially gotten their deportation orders. And I'll explain to you again, it doesn't mean they have it in their hand, because by law, they changed the law to say that they were no longer required to notify you. So if you have paperwork in the process, go make sure that a final judgment was not reached on your case already. Also, remember, the attorney said don't sign anything if you're picked up, and don't speak to anyone too much without an attorney present. Alright? It's SouFLoTV, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Good luck to everybody out there. Peace.